So welcome everybody. My name is Dora. I'm one of the founders of Kesher, and we also have Sebastian here. We are both the organizers and founders of this initiative. Our aim is to introduce different Jewish communities from around the world, and we do this via these Zoom sessions. And most of the time, our talks are about one specific city or one specific country's Jewish community. But we also have many partner organizations who are somehow also striving to share the heritage of their city or to preserve it or in some way embrace it. And one of these organizations is the one that you are going to hear about today. And we are very happy to welcome Penina Zilberman, who is the founder of the Tarbut Foundation in Sighet in Romania. And I'm going to give the stage to her. She will, of course, introduce herself more in detail, as well as the activities and the mission and all the events of her organization. So, Penina, the stage is yours. If there are questions, please put them in the chat, and we will have time at the end of the session for Q&A. So the presentation will be about 45 minutes, and then we will have about another 15 minutes or so for questions. So, Penina, the floor is all yours.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you very much, Dora, for the invitation to return back. And want to wish everybody Shana Tova and Chag Sameach, and have a wonderful year. And now I'm going to try, and oh, that's not bad. Good. Okay, so the name of the foundation is in Romanian, for those that do speak Romanian, Fundația Tarbut, Sighet, Cultură și Educație Iudaică. Romanian is Latin language, and I think that even people who don't speak Romanian, it's quite easy to understand. But the word tarbut in Hebrew means culture. And I felt when just before we established that we need to have a Hebrew word in it. And I'm very proud to say that as of next month, October, which is right around the corner, we will enter our 10th anniversary, and this is actually the first program into that anniversary. But why? Dora, excuse me, I press enter and it doesn't change.
And if you click on the right side of your screen with your mouse.
Next. Now.
Okay. Or on the bottom left, you can see those two little arrows. Perhaps if you click on those.
I don't see them, but okay, I'll work this way.
Okay.
So, I am right now, this moment, in a small village in Israel, just about 15 minutes away from the airport. However, as of Tuesday, I'm going back to Romania. Now, why did we start all this? May 1944, where the Jewish people of the Maramuresh region, where Sighet used to be the capital, deported to Auschwitz. And in May 2014 was the 70th anniversary. And I decided on my own to go to the local mayor at the time and ask to establish some kind of a commemoration. And this is the cover of the commemoration. Now, what is my relation to Sighet? Here it is. This is my late mother. This is my grandmother, Perla, who I am named after her, Penina in Hebrew. This is Grandpa, Ephraim in Hebrew, or Ferenc it's actually in Hungarian, but this piece of land, Maramuresh, is part of North Transylvania, and it was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That's why my mother spoke fluently Hungarian, and so people used to have also Hungarian names. So this is the family that comes from Sziget. Grandpa fought even in the First World War. Perla did not come from Sziget. She came from a little village, Budest. Now, they had 8 children, as you can see, 6 boys and 2 girls. The 2 girls survived, Agi. My mother's name was Shari. And another brother that survived, this one, Nachman. This eldest one was already a lawyer, but unfortunately was sent to forced labor camp out in the parts of Ukraine today that border with Sziget. So this is the Walter family, and that's part of my roots. On my father's side, it's Bucharest, but I am not going to speak about that today. So I was born to 2 Romanian parents, and father came from Bucharest with roots from Ploiești and Piatra Neamț. And mother, as I said, came from Sziget. I was born in Israel, and we lived in Israel until 1969. My father fought in 3 wars in Israel: independence, 48, 56 Sinai, and 67 the 6-Day War. I graduated high school in Israel. We lived in a small village, actually one across where I am now today. And that one was only established by 12 Romanian young families. And we were just part of that family, of that village. I went to school there, and when I graduated grade 12, we moved to Toronto, Canada. At that time, I became a Hebrew teacher. Then I became a principal of Hebrew schools. And my last job before I retired to come back to Israel, I was the director of the Holocaust Museum in Toronto. Actually, my whole life, I was entangled or embraced in the subject of Holocaust. But I must take a minute and explain. I took it from a point of a triumph, from a point of creation, from a point of here I am as a gift, because my mother, who went through Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen, was not supposed, according to the Nazis, to survive, but she did, and I am here. So, so that's who I am. And as of 2014, I am busy with the foundation. So we saw the whole map of Romania, which is a very large country, but this is only the region of Maramuresh. You must have heard about words like Satu Mare, the dynasty of Satmar, who actually started here in Sziget. And so Sziget used to be the capital of the region, and a very flourishing place with the Jewish community. Now, I always thank my grandmother from Bucharest, who taught me the Romanian language and the culture. But I must thank Ovidiu Nemes, who who used to be the mayor between 2012 and 2016. But what is important is that he really opened the door for me. Here I'm bringing him a present from Israel, a Hamsa, in his office. He was young, he was open-minded, and went along with my idea to invite descendants from all over the world to come to this gathering in 2014. I must say that I was the only one outsider that created this kind of an event. 10 years later, I'm very happy to say that there are a few more outsiders, in quote unquote, that established associations or foundations or any kind of organization that reflects their Romanian roots. And now we are many more. So that was my dream, and I'm very happy. Just to entertain you a little bit about the non-Jewish community, we see here a tree with lots of pots. That is usually in the spring season put on, and that means that there is a young woman that's ready to get married, and the many more pots on the trees, much richer is the family. So I entertain you with some kind of a story. Now, this is the monument in Siget that was built on top of the land where the major, largest Jewish synagogue was. Before May 1944, there were 10 synagogues, the large ones. We are not talking about little shtibels every here and there next to the houses. Now, after the war, 2,000 survivors came back. Not necessarily all of them were from Siget. However, they went to the Communist Party in 47 and requested to create this memorial and memory of all the Jews who did not return, who were killed, starved, murdered. And so they did. And those that understand the Yiddish, I'm going to read here. Zum Ibedek an Dank für Korbones von dem achzarische Fascism in Auschwitz. Now, what is the significance? The most important thing is all the memorials that were built during communism period, they were not allowed the Jews to use the word Nazism. That's why it says here fascism. However, all the new memorials that were built after the revolution, December 89, they do have the word Nazism. The Guard and all those posts are the original ones from the old pictures. This is a plaque that was put when we observed the 70th anniversary at the train station. The ramp that my grandparents and my family and the rest of the people from Siget were deported is still there. There is the new section of the train station in Siget and the old one. So this is the plaque that was put, and it is in Romanian. The Romanians do not understand, unfortunately, that they have to use also English. So here it states that between in the months of May to June 1944, 131 1,639 Jews, men, females, children, etc., from North Transylvania were deported and so on. I am showing you here some of the Jewish heritage that is still available. Another important site is the house of the late Professor Elie Wiesel. This is the front of the house. It's been recently renovated, restored. So here are some new pictures. Now, let me make clear. Everything that's in this house, furniture, glass, miniatures, paintings, everything, none of the items belong to Elie Wiesel. It's a combination of items that were given, bought, etc., that used to belong once upon a time to Jewish families. Unfortunately, when the Jews left their homes to go into the ghetto, which was right here at the continuation of the street, the non-Jews walked in and took for themselves everything they wished for. This is the bust of Elie Wiesel. It's in the garden here, and this has been added recently, the story of the deportations. Let me just say that Elie Wiesel did get the house back in 2002 when he was invited to write about the Romanian Holocaust. In the house used to live 3 families. It's quite a large house, but in those terms, in those days, everybody just had a small kind of one room, and they shared the bathroom and the shower, bath. So he was given the option to receive the house back. And he said, yes, I will get the house, but you take the people from the house and you give them other small apartments, and the house is going to turn into a local Maramuresh museum. And that is the title, the Elie Wiesel Maramuresh Jewish Community. Elie Wiesel in the year 2002 was asked to write about the Romanian Holocaust. Romania is one of the countries that was among the last ones to recognize and to take responsibility that there was a Jewish Holocaust. It's a very complicated situation, and it took them very long to accept and agree. And the only reason was because one of the requirements of the EU, when you become a member, you have to either say, no, there wasn't, if there is proof for it. In this case, there was no proof that there wasn't. There was, on the contrary, a lot of proof that there was. So that's why they finally agreed. And I'm also very, very pleased to say that on the 1st of September this year, the new law that was brought to the parliament 2 years ago came in effect, which is that every student from junior high and high school, it is compulsory to teach the students about the Jewish heritage and about the Jewish Holocaust during history classes. And that is as of the 1st of September this year. So that makes us very busy and so on, but I'm really thrilled about this situation. Let me just say that it's compulsory doesn't mean that until now, no history teacher taught it. It was just a choice, and I always compliment those that started much earlier. Here we are in the one and only functioning synagogue today. It is a Moorish style. The upstairs is not safe to go up. Everything is original. About 20 years ago, they repainted it. There was a donor from Holland or the Netherlands, but it needs a lot of repairs, the roof, and also the front, the outside. You know, between the snow and the rain and water and so on, the structure really gets affected. The number of Jews today, Jews first, according to the halacha, which means according to the mother, there is about 10 to 12. Most of them are in their late 80s, even early 90s, including my mother's first cousin, who was born in 26. So you know how old she is. Most of them are at home. They do get assistance paid by the Jewish community and the Federation from Bucharest, but they are not involved. There is a president who's in his mid-70s, really there isn't any special activities as in prayers every Shabbat or things like that. They do the prayers for the holidays. They do. However, there are about 150 or so mixed marriages. But there's a history in Siget, unfortunately, that these people were not welcomed by previous leaders, and therefore today the community has lost a lot. Here is part of the cemetery. The cemetery, this is what they say, it's about somewhere between 400 and 500 years. The issue with all cemeteries across Eastern Europe is that the vegetation grows very fast. There's a lot of rain, and it's hard to keep it up to par. You can see here it was cut, but here already, I love those Margaret's flowers. Here they are already growing. Many of the tombstones are already so deep in the ground because, again, the weather. Also, during communism time, the city would give to a person, to a watchman, to watch the cemetery. And they gave them permission to plant walnuts trees or fruit trees. And what happened over the years, close to 50 years until the revolution, if you know a little bit biology and about plants, the roots move in the ground and they shake the ground where the tombstones were. So they either fell or they got even deeper into the ground. There is a register. It's in Hebrew on a specific website that I can put on after. And we do find tombstones of people that are looking for. And it's a very special cemetery, Jewish cemetery. It has four, it's called ohel in Hebrew, which means tent, that certain tombstones are into a little house. And it's very special, of some very big name rabbis. Now, on this side, you see a mezuzah, part of a very old house that belonged to a shochet, a person that slaughters animals. And a teacher, he was from the Dreamer family. His house was taken from where it was and brought to the village museum. The Romanians have a museum that is called always the Village Museum. And this house is the Jewish house. And inside, it has exactly everything as it was, as the way he left in 1977 when he moved to Israel. He no longer lives with us, but his house is there. This building is in the middle of the city. Actually, it's across the monument because that street was called the Yiddish Gas, the Jewish street. Over here in these rooms used to be the Bes Yaakov school for girls. This whole unit of building, and you can see here inside, is called the Kahana Court. Kahana was a very famous, rich family. Their businesses were basically food, animals, and retail. Most of the stores on the main street belonged to them. Today, this is what's left, and no one is there to restore it. There's a battle that hasn't been completed with some descendants. What happened with all the properties of the Jewish people is that right after liberation and when the communists took over, it became the property of the city. And this whole thing today still belongs to the city. They rent space here and so on. Some people live in these houses, and I know it sounds very hard to believe, but this is what some people live in these kind of places. Here is a rabbi that, Rabbi Ezra, that helped me a lot. And he places a mezuzah on the post of the Tarbut offices. So this is the first mezuzah after 70 years. This is the front of our place. I must say that due to Corona, and I wasn't there for 3.5 years, all our activities happen on Zoom or when I'm around there. So we kind of not need anymore headquarters like we had. We used it for about 5 years, and we used to have students coming, and it was a different kind of programs and activities that we offered. The sign is still there. Okay, so here we are talking about our mission. And we divided our mission and our objectives into 2 parts. One for the Jewish all generations following the survivors, and the other one for the community at large and the high schools. So what do we do for our brothers and sisters? We help them find out more when they research their genealogical roots. We offer also family roots journeys, and we work with them and we plan the trip and the journey. We locate tombstones, we locate addresses, and so on. We are making the visit extremely meaningful so that they can remember something sweet and something from their family. They get the synergy of the city. I must say that many survivors did not talk, did not tell. Maybe they started when they went out on pension, or maybe when they became sick and they worried. There are others that never said a word. So the young generation, like myself, I'm second generation, but let's say the third or the fourth are discovering things after. So we have a very active social media. We also translate books from English and Hebrew into the Romanian language. And I'll show you a few. We are very proud. Our third book is ready already. Now, what do we do for the students? We provide them with testimonies. We talk about pre-Holocaust Jewish life so that they understand the contribution that the Jews provided to the economy, to the culture, to the politics of that specific village, town, and so on. We offer book essays and art contests to the students, and they do get certain prizes. We bring in musical concerts, plays. We offer debate seminars and workshops for the teachers. And we are also part of the Jewish Heritage Tours. We also take the students. We took only once to Krakow and Auschwitz tour. We hope that we will renew this activity again. Now, this is one of the presentations at the school. These are some of the artwork that the students have done. This supposedly is the portrait of Elie Wiesel. Now, when we we the art contest and the essay contest, we do ask the students, we provide them with a list of books, with a list of films and so on. It's not that they just decide to do something. There's always a theme. So everything is organized in a proper way. And we hope that they remember and they know what they have learned, because many of them are leaving Romania when they graduate. And it is important, anyways, as I see it as an educator, to know and to understand what it means, racism and prejudice, because unfortunately, there are some people today in Europe and also in North America that look upon Romania as a very undeveloped country, maybe even as a third world country. So therefore, that reflects on the attitude and interaction in the relationships with people who are abroad. So by us teaching them of what has happened and so on, I think that helps them to understand better. Here we are in Krakow in front of the very famous synagogue. And these are some of the students and teachers. Another class. Here is a new thing in Israel for about 10, 12 years. It's called Zikaron Basalon. Zikaron means memory remembers. Salon is like the main room, the largest room. So it started first in houses and homes, and lately it's been also in companies. So I was invited this past year to this company that works with designers, and most of their staff is from abroad. I presented the presentation on Yom HaShoah, around Yom HaShoah, which is April, and in English. And as I said, most of the people in this company were Americans or South Americans, and they also have workers around the world. So it was at a time when people in North America just woke up. So that was nice. Now, here I was invited to a home of someone in Rishon LeZion, and these are adults that took off that evening to come specifically to hear. My presentation here was what did it mean to grow up as a child in a home of survivors or with survivors. Let me say something in brackets. Even though my father was not deported to any camp or to any labor force camp, he was forced in Bucharest to wake up every morning at 3 o'clock and start to collect, bodies of the people who were shot overnight because there was a curfew. So the police would just shot anyone who would break the curfew. So he did go through some kind of a trauma. Everybody who went through the Second World War in a camp, out of camp, I never let people compare their experiences or their suffering, but all of them were left with a mark. This is a program that we offer. Now, AEPJ is an organization in Barcelona, already 25 years old, that perpetuates the Jewish culture and heritage across Europe. We are members for the past 8 years, and I'm a board member of this organization. One of their major programs is called European Days of Jewish Culture. Each year, they have another theme. This was bridges, and everybody was making things or writing. And this is a picture with all of us who participated. Here was a year that was storytelling. So we put on Elie Wiesel. And this year is a very special year because Tarbut was given a certain amount, a grant, in order to promote these programs across Romania. So if we will sit and add all these places, we will end up with 25 programs. This year also, the Days of Jewish Culture were recognized by UNESCO. So you can see here all the logos that are going. We also work with the National Library in Israel. So, you see Baia Mare, Silvano, Radia. Now, what kind of programs we offer? We offer concerts, plays, exhibits, lectures. It's sort of whatever each community who wants to participate is doing. This is going, if anyone is around Siget next week on the 4th of October, this exhibit will be launched. And this exhibit is a very special one. It has 14 roll-ups of 2 meters height with pictures of various families, whoever send us pictures. So one picture, let's say, shows a man or a woman or a couple that survived, and a few others show their extended family. The whole idea of this exhibit is to show how 2 people that survived, how large is their new family. So it's really very interesting. That's why I go Tuesday back to Romania to launch this. And this project actually belongs to here, Asociația Maramureș Heritage, which is a young man from Baia Mare, who out of the blue decided no Jewish roots, nothing. decided to create this association, and I welcomed him very much. And he said he wants to have this exhibit. I said, okay, let's go. So we, of course, helped him with the purchasing and so on. Now, what are other programs? There is Concert de Musica Evreiască, concert of Jewish music, is going to be on the 25th of October in Oradea, in Timișoara 26th, and in Brasov is going to be Motzei Shabbat on the 28th. Now, this group of singers, the major one is a former opera singer, and another one, a former Israeli who lives now in Cluj, is a real Chazan. So it's really very special. And this exhibit here, we just opened Thursday in Yash. Okay, together with all the programs, we also organize this large, very interesting conference that's going to take place November 16 to 18 in Bucharest. And you can see that I am involving different kinds of organization. The German embassy takes part in this program. Tolly, here is the Hebrew, Bar Ilan, sorry. Ratio Ideas, this is the federation, and so on. So I'm a firm believer in collaboration and working together. Now, I told you about the books that we translate. So this book of Elisha Carmeli, Across the Rivers, was her story, may she rest in peace, about Transnistria. This book, in Inima Noastră erame niște uriași, is a story of the famous little people that used to live in Rosavlia, which is about 30 kilometers away from Sighet. All of them survived, and the mayor approached me in the second year of our existence in Sighet and said, the book was first published in English. I want to translate the book. Can you help me with publicity? I said, there's no problem. And we really launched the book in Israel, in Canada, in Romania, of course, too. And for this book, when we launched it in Bucharest, somebody told me that there is an association in Romania of little people. So I called them, and they were our guests. So the children of that association that are small realized that so many years ago it also happened, and look how famous they are. So it's really important. So the book that's right now, and I will highly recommend whoever is right now in the States and can buy it, The Takeaway Men by Meryl Ain. This book will be launched November 23rd at the book fair in Bucharest. And this is just to show you when we launched the book in Tel Aviv. The lady used to be the ambassador of Romania in Tel Aviv in Israel. Both of them are the authors of the Book of Little People, and he is the mayor. I told you that I work together with embassies. So the American embassy offered us the opportunity to have Joshua Nelson, who's a cantor, and his great-grandmother was from Romania. She went to New York, and she met somebody, and she got married, and so on. The rest is history. Joshua Nelson was on a tour across Romania, and then he was taken to Moldova to continue his tour. It was an amazing thing. Look here. This was the concert in Oradea. He's signing autographs. This is our pamphlet about Roots to Roots. for the tours. We always participate. In Israel, there is in the month of February, middle of February, it's called the Mediterranean Tourist Show. So we always participate at the Romanian booth. And this gentleman is very special. He is the one and only potter around the world. You can find him on the internet. National Geographic is really highlighting him because of the type of clay he's using. He is preparing the clay for years before he starts to make. So he has been to Israel already a couple of times, and also the Romanian government always sends him to other shows around the world. This is the tourist show in Bucharest. So this is the Maramuresh region. Now, I told you that people come to look for their roots and find out more about their family histories. So here is a very special picture. Unfortunately, Tzvi, he's no longer with us, but he wanted to go to his little town and get his birth certificate. So this is the register. Somewhere here, his parents with 3 witnesses went and registered him. And this is the mayor of that town. And so he received his birth certificate at the age of 80. He came with his 2 sons and daughter and their spouses. And we had a whole tour of 5 days. Now, this is tourists, and I also take them to non-Jewish places because of 2 reasons. Number one, some variety and to appreciate the locals, to bring some business also. And number 2, we cannot be constantly into a sad mode. So this is a bit lighter. So here he is showing how he creates. Dan is his name. Then he shows how he creates this pot, whatever is going to come out. And there is also a session that he gives a piece of clay and people can create what they want. So there is some interaction. And here we see some ladies from the 2019 gathering, 4 generations, grandma that was born in Siget and so on. 2019 May was the last gathering we had. Here we are in the city hall, in the big room, in the council room. And it has a very special significance. Why? Because we were kicked out of there. And now we sit there. And for me, each time I come to Siget, first thing I do, you will see soon, I go to the city hall because, okay, these are 3 other descendants. This lady came all the way from Australia. She's from Israel, and this one from America. This is our beautiful t-shirt. Now here, this is what is hanging 6 meters on 2 meters in front of that room that is the council house. We made this collage the first time we had the gathering in 2014. And here we have various pictures of various people from Siget before the war, after the war. And so there are lots of weddings here, pictures and so on. So when I come to Siget, like when I'll go, God's willing, on Tuesday, and I arrive, this is the first place I go. I talk, I pray. I feel that it gives me a lot of energy and inspiration to continue what we are doing. Now, we also hold meetings in Tel Aviv and so on. But in 1950, all the survivors that were in Israel, they bought a piece of land and built some kind of a building, 2 floors. It's called the Maramurish House, and they are holding once a year a memorial. So this is that place. There are no more survivors that can come out of their homes or of their hospitals, wherever they are. So really, one has to start to think what to do. But whoever handles it does not have a vision in order to try and get the 3rd and 4th generation in. Now, Romania has an institution that it's called ICR, which means I for Institute, C for Culture, and R for Romania. So it is the Romanian Cultural Institute. Many of the countries around the world, if you live in New York, they have a very large one. I think in Washington there are certain major cities. So in Tel Aviv, there is one, and we collaborate at least once a year, some kind of a program. Now, this lady is the great-granddaughter of a very famous family that came from Siget, and she wrote a book, and it came out last year, and I invited her, and we collaborated with the Institute of Culture, and this is the program that we had. And in January 24, we are going to launch a huge exhibit of the lady that I told you comes from Australia. Remember her a few slides away? So we remember, and what we do does matter a lot. Now, what are my dreams for the next 10 years? Okay, so we hope to have the 80th anniversary next year. We hope to continue to publish books. I have 2 books now with the publisher, and I'm waiting to see which one they want to publish. I want both of them, but we'll see. And to take really students to Auschwitz, to increase the Zoom. Now, let me say, October the 9th, next week, or the week after, is a very important date in Romanian history. You recall I said that Elie Wiesel wrote in the year 2002 the report. So following that, what the government had to do was to choose a day that's going to be the official Holocaust observance in Romania. Every country, like in United States, we have November 11, right? France has in July, and so on and so forth, pending on when the Jews were deported. Now, there is a region, northeastern region in Romania that's called Bukovina. And those people in that region were deported on October the 9th, which was the day after Yom Kippur. The Nazis used to know the calendar very well and do purposely such things, like the ghetto in Siget started on the 2nd day of Passover. So coming back to October the 9th, those Jewish people from Bukovina were deported to Transnistria, which was the worst camp. No ovens or crematoriums, but other terrible states for the people to be there. So October the 9th and January 27 is the international date to observe Holocaust. And hopefully we'll have more tours. And I'm very pleased to report that I'm writing a personal book, the family story, Bucharest and Seagate and Canada and Israel, everything together. And I'm hoping that next year it will come out. So that's also an important thing. Takes a lot of time for me. So I want to thank you. Mulțumesc. I am available for Zoom or in-person presentations, synagogues, cultural centers, schools, you name it. So I want to thank you very much. And I guess, Dora, are we on time?
Yeah, more or less, of course. So
Thank you.
thank you so much, Penina. Of course, all this information, and I'm going to close your screen, but we will send it out to everybody, the Penina's email address and also the information about the Tarbut Foundation. So you will receive it from us tomorrow. So thank you so much, Penina, for sharing with us about the Jewish heritage of Siget and also about the activities of Tarbut. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. It sounds truly amazing, all the activities that you have done in these past 10 years. So I would like to open it up for questions. If anyone would like to ask anything or share anything, then we still have a little bit of time. So you can put it in the chat or raise your hand, whatever you feel more comfortable with. And while we're waiting for questions, I just want to let you know that this Thursday we have a talk about shtetls. Some of you may have attended last week talk because it was a two-part session. Not they can be watched independently. Last week we had a talk where our speaker Evgenia summarized a little bit about what shtetls are, and this Thursday, it will be a bit of a virtual tour in some specific, more well-known shtetls. So if you're interested in that, please join us. And I don't see now questions coming in. So Penina, you may have just gave such a detailed and thorough explanation, both about the town as well as your activities, that it looks like there are no doubts left. Okay, there is a question coming in. In the wall of photos, there was a picture of a small boy who seems to be wearing a folk costume. Was there interest in the Jewish community about Romanian folk culture and dance?
Yes, there was. Romanian Jews were, okay, imagine the map of Romania. It's either an apple or a tomato, and you cut into four. So you have four quarters. You have the north, which is Bukovina, closer to the former USSR. And you have the other side, like Siget and Satu Mare, bordering with Hungary. These two areas were more religious than the southern people. Okay, because the northern Jews came from the former Galicia or the former Russia because of pogroms, because of etc., always being run after. Where the Jews in the south, either Bucharest or the other side, Timișoara, to your surprise now, sit down and hear, they were Sephardic Jews. Now you are asking yourself, how come? Because Romania was also ruled by the Ottoman Empire, the same as Israel was once upon a time. Now, the Ottoman Sultan was a very smart man. He would bring the doctors, the lawyers, the economists to make the place flourishing, to promote and make sure that Romania, under his ruling, is a very good place to live, to work, and so on and so forth. So the Jews of Romania also were very much friendly with the locals. So yes, they did follow the culture. Now, the hora that we dance in Israel is the Romanian hora. And by the way, one more thing, Hatikva, the Jewish anthem, is also a little bit taken from some kind of a piece of music from Romania. And it was composed by Naftali Hertz, who came from Russia to live in Romania because his parents didn't want him to be drafted to the Russian army. So there were other people in the culture, in the Jewish culture. For example, the first Yiddish theater opened in Yash. But the person who was the head of the theater was not a Romanian. He also came because his mother pushed him across the border to come to Romania, not to get drafted. So these are some of the, little bits of extras.
Thank you. Another question was that you mentioned a book that was presented by the granddaughter of someone in the Romanian Institute in Tel Aviv. Do you remember which book this is?
Yeah, it's in Hebrew. I can, you need to read in Hebrew.
Okay.
I'll send you the title, Dora.
Okay, and we will include it in tomorrow's follow-up email.
Yeah, I'll send you also the website of the list of tombstones in the cemetery.
And can you just say now who is the author?
The author
of this book?
I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Penina will send it to us and we will share it tomorrow with all the registrants.
Any other questions or comments, remarks? How many Romanian people we have here?
I see 2 hands up, 3 hands up, 4 hands up.
Zoltan Fried, have you ever been back to Sighet or to Romania?
Yes, I was. I went back about 5 times.
Oh, okay.
I left the area in 1977. So till then, I lived in Sighet, in Satu Mare, and Baia Mare.
Okay.
So yeah, and I went back. My parents are from Sighet, from the villages around Sighet.
Which one?
Kabula Charda.
Okay.
And Vișeu de Sus.
Da. Do you speak Romanian still?
A little bit, yes, I do.
And where are you now? What country are you now in?
I'm in Ottawa, Canada.
Oh, okay. I also lived in Canada, but in Toronto.
Toronto, yeah.
Very nice.
I'm involved here in Ottawa with a organization called Center for Holocaust Education and Scholarship. We do a lot of education about the Holocaust and about working to counter anti-Semitism and that kind of stuff. We actually go to schools and provide all kind of informational sessions there. So that's my activity here around about all this. And obviously, I know a lot about Sighet. Actually, I have a very interesting book related to the Sighet history of the Jewish people. Just a second. Let me just get it.
We always learn something new
Oh, I don't
from
know
participants as well.
if you can, yeah, is this one. I don't know if you can see it.
Of course, yeah, I know it. It's out of print. Both books that are about Siget are out of print.
It's
The
too
hard
bad that it's
remember.
out of print and there is no way to reproduce it, because I have some relatives and I would like to share this because it's a very interesting book. And
Correct.
very bad that it cannot be. Yeah, I have
That's
my only one.
good. Thank you very much, Zoltan. Nice meeting you.
Same, very much. And I enjoyed very much your presentation.
Thank you.
There is one more thing I wanted to ask. Actually, I sent a message out. I did my genealogy on my family and all that, and basically I cannot go in earlier times than about 1860 or so. There are no records. I cannot find the proper records for those kind of times. And I don't know what to do about it. Do you have any suggestions? I mean, I looked into the records, birth, death, things which are located in Baia Mare.
Correct. That's where the major archive is for our region in Baia Mare.
But that doesn't go above that time period, like 1850s and 1800s is not there. It's like they don't have anything.
Okay, so what you need to do, have you heard about Jewish Gen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to ask for the books of the former Austro-Hungarian Empire, because you see, in the late years, we have it via Romania in Baia Mare, but previously you have to look into the Hungarian archives.
And they are not located in Baia Mare.
No, they're not.
Where would they be located?
In
They are in
Budapest.
Budapest. They are in Budapest. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good clue. Thank you.
Yeah. You're very welcome. I hope it helps.
Yeah, we'll try. Thanks.
Good. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And there was a question, comment. Do you know about a Romanian cemetery in Chicago? There, apparently someone knows, although they don't know which town. Jewish Romanian cemetery in Chicago.
Never heard.
So, Holly, you can send us information about it if you'd like. Okay, so I think this is all the questions that I saw now in the chat. So thank you so much, Penina, for your presentation, and of course, thank you everybody for joining us today. We hope you had a nice time, and of course, as I mentioned, we will send out tomorrow further information as well as this recording of today's session, so you will receive it tomorrow and you will be able to rewatch. So we wish you all Shana Tova again, and we'll let Penina have a good night because she's in Israel, so it's already very late for her.
Yeah, that's okay.
And thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a Shana Tova, all the best. And I would love to welcome you people to come to Romania in general, but also in Maramureș. It's the most authentic region still. Virgin. Not really taking advantage like other areas. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye. Shalom.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. And have a nice trip to Romania, Penina.
Thanks.
Hi,
Thanks,
Dara. It's
Dora.
Carol. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Happy
Bye.
New Year, Carol. Thank you for joining.
To you and yours.
And hope to see you soon, Penina, maybe in Constanța.
Yes, we have to talk. I know I have to answer you because I'll be in Bucharest towards the end of October.
So
I'll
I
write
can call you, yes?
Yes.
Hope to see you soon.